Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the authors of Brave Kids, short stories to inspire our future world changers. This is volume 3, this gorgeous, amazing book. Look at that bear, you guys. Oh my goodness. So Michelle and Pam and Nicole are here to chat with us today. I want to give our lead author, KJ Kashula, a little shout out before we talk to the authors today. Kelly, you had such a big vision and mission for Brave Kids, and I'm so, so grateful for you and everything you've done to bring these gorgeous books into the world, this award-winning series into the world. This is a magnificent collection. Oh my gosh, I can't say enough about you, your mission, your talent, and this beautiful community. We get to meet 3 beautiful authors in this community today, you guys. Michelle Briggs is an adoptee and psychiatric nurse practitioner who supports mental health recovery for all involved in the adoption process. I have Dr. Pamela J. Pine with me. She's an international speaker, best-selling author, public health specialist with a specialty in adverse childhood experiences. She's also an artist with decades-long career serving the underserved. And Nicole May is with us today. She's the founder of Lady May Impressions, and a renegade artist that weaves her experience and wisdom into various art mediums to heal and bring awareness to mental health. If you didn't quite catch from the bios that this is an other level author group, I'm going to tell it to you, because it isn't just anyone stepping up and saying yes to writing a kid's short story. These are experts with decades of experience, not only in their expertise, but life experience. You 3, thank you so much for saying yes to this project and for bringing your wisdom, your expertise, but your passion mostly for helping kids with these really, really important topics. Pam, I would like to start with you today. You wrote a gorgeous story. It's called Squishies and Squooshes Shared Secret. I hope I'm getting their names right. Staying safe by talking about things that don't feel right. What's the most important thing you want people to know about this story?
I want people to know that these subjects, adverse childhood experiences and related, can be talked about and can be talked about with really young kids. We make a mistake in thinking we have to wait until they're 12 or 15 or whatever in order to help prepare them for a world that's not always that easy and where things happen sometimes to little kids. Our mistake is not talking to them. Our mistake is not talking about these issues with each other, and it lets the silence fester. And when and if, I should say, if and when those kids come forward, they're often met with silence or disgust or discomfort. We have to be able to stand in our power and relay those types of concepts to children so that we can, in fact, protect them.
Yeah, so important. Well, you have my mind going in a lot of different directions right now, but mostly I want to say that if I had had enough of the education as a parent, or even just the nudge as a parent to do this talk earlier, it may have saved us a massive family trauma in my own personal life. And while I was brave once my kid came to me, I look back and it might be the only regret I have is not having the conversation ahead of time or not knowing even to have it, honestly. So I got to like give myself a little bit of a break. Like, it just wasn't in my face enough. So, Pam, I love that you are bringing it in front of people's faces and saying, "Hey, this may have never come up for you, but I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to be brave about saying y'all need to think about it." And so thank you mostly. Just a lot of gratitude for what you do. Is there anything else you want to tell people about that? Oh, you're muted, Pam.
I thought I unmuted, sorry.
It's okay.
I want people to know that these are very complex issues. And what I did in the crafting of this story was make this a tellable tale as a fantasy sort of thing, but it is how it happens, usually happens, often happens. And when they read, when parents or other adults who are caretakers read this story, they should read it in advance and be prepared for some of the questions that might come in their direction and realize that what's in that story is often the way it happens to kids. And they can learn a lot from the story itself, but using the story, they can go back and learn more about these issues and really help us all expand the conversation about this so that we can prevent it, treat it if it happens, and ultimately get it off the planet.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes to this project and for being back in this project. Um, I so deeply appreciate your world mission, your life's mission.
I want to thank you too, Laura. I want to return the thanks. You've done a lot for my expression, my creativity, my ability to get my words out there, and for untold numbers of others. So thank you as well for taking this issue to heart and allowing me to do this.
My pleasure, Pam. All right, let's go to you, Nicole. You wrote a gorgeous story called A Journey into Magic Roots, The Adventures of Joe and Ree. Tell us what you want us to know about this story. What's the most important thing?
Well, I actually use the story in a way to help my son live on. Um, he passed. And I should say he died, right? Because grief informed language is honest and real. And I wanted a way to kind of give children the ability to journey like I did when I practiced shamanism and what like I do when I practice shamanism. So I kind of let myself go back there to the 3-year apprenticeship I did. And I thought about some of the journeys that I took and some of the lessons that I passed to my kids. And for me, it was a way um, to kind of create the series that allows us to address one thing at a time, but give kids also a safe space they can create within themselves that they can go to anytime they want to. Because kids have great big imaginations, so it's nothing for them to have a little magical journey, and giving them that safe space and giving them the ability to even identify possible totem animals that they can then use as leverage for strength or for learning, or if they see an animal, maybe make them more inquisitive of what does this represent. So there was a lot packed into why I did it. The reason that I ended up in the book is I saw the cover art And immediately this whole story just, the bear was one of my like massive totems, and it immediately just brought all of those memories back, and the memories of working with my kids and telling them stories to help them process what's happened during the day. And that's how we got here, you know. So I hope that that's what kids take away. I'm very passionate about giving them tools as young as possible to help them process through their emotions so that they don't ever feel overwhelmed or shut down. And if ever that day comes where they don't want to talk outside, maybe they have learned to process internally themselves without going to that very dark place that my son did.
Imagine if your imagination was never squashed. Imagine what would happen if you grew into your tweens, your teens, your young adulthood, your adulthood, having that space within to go there and learning that particular tool, right? Like I want to repeat that real quick for people who to understand a little bit about the power of what Nicole is doing with a shamanic journey. Oh my gosh, there's so much to explore, you guys, in shamanism. I also, because she talked about the bear, I wanted to kind of show and tell the spread illustration here. So I'm going to bring it up to the screen so you guys can stare at that for a minute. Look at all those beautiful animals, right? And just the incredible talent of Miss KJ Kashula, who has a few of these in. I won't divulge all of them, but I stared at this for the longest time, looked at all of the details and loved all of the animal medicine in there. I know Nicole knows what I'm talking about, but you all do. You all do. Nicole, thank you for bringing your beautiful energy into this book.
Thank you, Lauren.
Michelle, you wrote A Different Kind of Bear Family, speaking of bears, a story of adoption and love. And I want you to talk to us a little bit about that thing about your story that you want us to know. I wanted to just also quickly say that I don't know what it was about your story that gave me this visual, and I just followed. Speaking of imaginations, I just followed this bear character like through all of your paragraphs and pages, and I don't know, I was in, girl. Like, this was magnificent. Tell us, what do you want people to know about this story?
Oh, thank you very much. First, I have a personal connection because I am an adoptee. Uh, in the 70s, folks gave away children and birth mothers. It's a very traumatic experience for everyone. And there wasn't a lot of awareness about it. And it was, just it's a great thing. You're adopted. Great. This family loves you and can take care of you, and everything's fine. But we know more about that now. It is a trauma experience for adoptees as well as the birth mothers and the adoptive parents. So the inspiration for my story was to just raise awareness and represent the complexities of adoption, and to raise awareness and empathy and understanding for that triad of people, including the adoptee, and to provide, hopefully, if you know anyone who is adopted or going through the experience as parents, that you can be a little more encouraging and supportive, and to understand that there's a lot of identity issues and complexities that can add to the mental health of the triad, especially the adoptee. So the stories highlights the personal journey of this bear, and how the bear overcomes some challenges and realizes in the end that love's within him.
Powerful message. And I don't know, I really appreciate how you're calling out the trauma of it and allowing people to understand that, accept that if that has happened, but also how there's a circle of people in that experience who were all traumatized, right? Not just the kid. Your story was sad. And like McCole said earlier, that was real, like language. Like that is the reality of that story, is that it can be so sad. And thank you for allowing me to be sad, feel sad, helping me into my body with the feeling, right? Because this is the real stuff. What else do you want to say about that?
It is real, and, to feel the feelings and overcome them and, to also feel joy and acceptance and love, is really, the journey, isn't it? And, even in young people, we can help them connect with that inner self that just is that loving, nurturing self, and, that to me is the gift of writing this story, is to spread the message that, yes, it can be sad, yet there can also be the opposite of joy to the level of that sadness.
For sure. Thank you for
Mhm.
being here in this beautiful
Thank you, it
book.
was a wonderful opportunity.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about, writing for kids. McCole, how do you feel about the process? Does this mean for you to write for kids? Tell me about your process.
So, I had thought on and off about writing for kids since I adopted my kids, and I would tell them stories at night to help them process through the different emotions. And for me, writing for kids is giving them a tool. It's giving them a relatable story, and it's pointing out the differences or the similarities that other kids might have. I had told them one called The Unconventional Family. And at the end, right, they realized that, oh, there's no such thing as a conventional family, right? The conventional ones are actually the weird ones out, right? In that story. And so for me, writing for kids really probably started at least verbally. I had an oral tradition with my kids. At the end of every night, I would tell them a story. One of the more real ones was, I told them a story about a little boy that he had two different parents in two different places, and one was very strict and it made him mad, and the other one was like, oh yeah, I don't care, go do whatever you want, I don't care. And he thought it was great at first until he learned that they didn't care. They had to listen to the words that were being said, and kind of like using stories as a way to allow them space to feel their feelings, like you said with Michelle, giving them the ability to say, oh wow, someone else wrote about this, so there must be someone else out there feeling these feelings. Or maybe though they felt their feelings and this is how they got through it. So for me, writing for kids is really giving them that opportunity to feel their feelings in a safe way, and use their imagination and be curious about their emotions, so that hopefully they don't sneak up on them later in a time where they are not prepared.
Yes, nice. I love listening to you explain this and what moves through your head. How cool to have somebody like you to read those, or not read, because you were making them up, right? You were just, yeah. So how cool is that you really thought about it for a minute and wanted to bring those kinds of stories to your kids? You guys, this book is full of that. This book is full of something that goes a little deeper to help give our kids permission to express and feel and all the things. Michelle, how about you on this one? How is writing for kids? How's that process been for you? What has it meant for you?
Oh, it's wonderful because you're in touch with your little self, and what did I need, and what did I want, and that's been a beautiful process. I've worked with children through the years, and it's always just so wonderful to see that spark in them and, that little bit of joy and self-acceptance that comes through just so naturally. And for that, I've been was really grateful to have the opportunity to write for small children.
Yeah, I think that you're making me realize some of the responsibility, but also the honor. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, we get to do this and really pour. our hearts and souls into that mission, which of course all three of you did so brilliantly, and you were following the leader, Kelly, of that mission. I really can't put enough good words to the feels of this book, the energy you all put into crafting that story in your brilliant ways. And if you listeners are thinking about writing for kids, we got you. um, we want to help you do that. We feel the honor and the responsibility of this, and we want to help you all do it. Pam, tell me your answer to this. What is writing for kids meant for you?
I love this. I really love this. It's actually started out with I one day went with my bicycle. I was going out of my fence and I reached up to the latch and I felt something squishy. And there was this beautiful frog. And when this opportunity came along to write for kids, that frog popped into my head, and that frog then became twins. And as you know, this story is there are lots of adverse childhood experiences. The primary orientation for this is child sexual abuse. And I was gratefully able to put this story in a fashion that let the process uh, spill out. How does this happen? Why does this happen? Under what circumstances does it often happen? Those kinds of things. And as I continued to write, it virtually wrote itself, which is something I love. When it happens, I love when it happens. I used to tell my kids stories when we were on long trips in the car. And that process of just letting your mind ramble and let it go where it went and then refining it. I didn't refine it in the car for the kids, it just told the story. But that's what happened with this. And it was fun and a joy to write. And I was really pleased that I was able to get the kind of details in that story that allowed children and adults to mm, to jump into the story and have the details, the important details, unfold in front of them to help them understand. So it was win-win-win. Yeah.
For sure. Well, I don't tell this secret very often, but I do have a thing for frogs, y'all. And like, I'm the one in the family, they'll often wander into the backyard, and we have dogs, and dogs and frogs don't often mix. So I'm the one that will go scoop up the squishy frog and put him over the edge of the yard so he's saved. But I love those characters, Pam. So fun, you guys. Y'all made your stories so fun and alive and brilliant and colorful and full of the feels. Okay, I have one more question for all of you. Michelle, if you could talk to the younger you, what would your message of encouragement be to her? Any age, no rules.
Oh my. Ah, sweetheart, stay curious. Uh, it's wonderful that you love nature and that you can be happy and free and you can find your own safety.
Nice. There Michelle is with the birds in the background of her nature scene today.
Yeah,
I love that.
it's a great day here.
It is. Oh my gosh. And the birds, the birds. I love that, Michelle. I love listening to y'all talk to your younger selves. And I often use these as journaling prompts, and I'll write to my younger self at different stages. Um, that's a boy, those are healing moments. Pam, for you, if you could talk to the younger you, what would your message of encouragement be?
Had I been aware enough, I would have said to myself, you are allowed to do those things that everybody is telling you not to be because you are supposed to be good and perfect.
Yes.
And it took me decades to get to the other side of that, to the point that I couldn't get the words out of my mouth or in my head, not out of my mouth, it was really in my head, that I didn't like somebody until I was 35 years old. That's a long time.
It is.
And it was a very, very powerful message. Be good, be good, be good, be good, be good, be good, be good. Well, all hell broke loose in college.
Well, for you and a couple others of us.
Right, right.
Yes. Oh, recovering good girl. Anyone? Anyone here? Yeah. Right. Like, I think there's this piece. Thank you, Pam. Thanks for that. That's going to resonate with a lot of people. All right, Nicole, for you on this one, if you could talk to that younger you, what would your message be?
Well, considering everyone else's, I would say then real power, real personal power comes from being able and allowing yourself to sit in the uncomfortable feelings, knowing that they're not forever. They will pass.
Mm, that is a very powerful one. Oh, that's one took me decades.
Yes, me too, along with everybody else's.
Yeah.
So, I fortunately have always had a very active imagination, so I've never really lost my creativity, but it definitely was dulled, right? Like, don't daydream. What are you doing? Oh, and like you both hit on it, oh, you can't do that. What are you going to do with that degree? That's not practical. Oh, what are you going to do as you can't be a writer? You can't be a songwriter. You can't be, you're too artsy, but even that all comes back down to, can you sit in the uncomfortable feelings, right? Because you're allowing someone else to make you feel that shame, so if you're able to sit in the uncomfortable feelings with curiosity, even better, because now you're sitting in the uncomfortable feelings, but you're like, well, yeah, this sucks, but why do I feel this way? And where is this negative coming from? And what would make me feel better?
Profound life skill right there. And it's not easy, but it's worth the practice. With awareness, we get a choice and we can change that trajectory of our lives. I love talking to my younger self in all the stages for all of these reasons. I love that, Nicole. To all three of you, thank you so much. Thanks for what you do in the world. Thank you for these brilliant, beautiful chapters. Thank you for being here today, ladies. For our listeners, this is way more than a book. You're going to really want the book. You're going to want to gift this book, but understand that this is a generous community. Come on down into the show notes. Everybody here is hooked up with their websites. Go explore what Pam and Nicole and Michelle are up to. They're there to answer a question, carry on a conversation, give you some support, right? Talk to you about a little bit more about the topics. So proud of this community. And we hope you just hop over to Amazon today and grab your copy. It's ready for you. We can't wait to share this book into the world in a bigger way. Lastly, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.